We started a precedent by acknowledging the presence of students from TUT. I've just been informed that there are students from the University of South Africa in the political science department. Welcome. Thank you. Mr. Skate.
I think I will go back to the statement, but I just wanted us to finish one of the issues I wanted to deal with on your question.
Thank you.
Mr. Malatji, earlier on when you were probed, you indicated that you were not a participant in in some of the decisions at the BEC, am I correct? For example, you said from 2017 to 2019, you were taken out.
Yes, 2017 to 2019, I was taken out of the position, but that was after the BC has completed its work.
That was after the BC?
Yes.
Okay, so your statement at paragraph 19 remains accurate.
Yes, my statement remains accurate. Thank you.
And you while participating in these meetings and resolutions of the BEC entails that you also take ownership of those decisions.
Correct.
All right. We'll come back to it, especially around the missing documents. I just wanted to make sure that I understand you correctly.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think Mrs. Kagani, Mr. Malatji was done with paragraph 9.
Apologies.
I think he was done with paragraph 9.
Yes, yes. I think we're getting into the court order 10 and then thereafter.
Paragraph 10.
Correct.
Paragraph
I think he had just indicated that there was a court order in all of this.
Yeah, Mr. Malatji, when I began to engage you, you were starting to read paragraph 10. So if you can just start all over and read paragraph 10.
Thank you, Commissioner. The City of Tshwane was later served with the court order, which awarded tender TMPD 2 2016-2017 to 22 security service providers, including Kubis Solutions Pty Ltd. I attached a copy of the court order dated the 22nd of October 2021, marked as Annexure TP3.
Thank you. Could you go to page 8 of your bundle, Annexure bundle?
Page, sorry?
Page 8.
8. Yes.
I just ask one question in relation to this court order. Apologies, Chair. I just want to probe one question around this court order. My understanding of the court order would have been that there was agreement between the city but are you aware of the instructions that were given around this court order?
Yes, I am aware of the instructions by the court order.
Okay. Were you part of the BEC that is
I wonder if you are not talking at cross purposes.
Yes, Chair.
As to what led to the agreement which then became a court order. Are you aware of that?
No, not.
Yes, yes.
I thought you were talking at cross purposes.
Okay.
So if you were not aware of what influenced this agreement,
Yes.
of
I was not in, I'm not aware of what influenced the
okay,
agreement.
but were you not interested to find out how this happened?
I think my interest was, I confined my interest to the orders that the court had issued to municipality. My interest became there because it was obvious the municipality has to implement the order of the court.
Okay. Thank you. We'll come back to it in the statement. Can I take it? We'll go to the BEC report, right? What would have appeared also is that since you were part of the BEC,
Yes.
you would have recommended that these 22 entities be appointed for providing security services
Correct.
after your evaluation.
Correct.
I'm asking.
Yes.
It follows.
I do.
No, I didn't get that.
Yes,
Is in the affirmative.
Thank you. Then, when is it normal that obviously that the court, I just want your understanding, that it would have, the decision should have then gone, the report, the way it goes, it should have gone to the BAC, the report. Did it ever go to the BAC, just for completeness? Because I understand that it didn't. Your report.
I don't know what to say, but I take it that every BEC reports, right, once it's adopted and taken to supply chain management, it is supply chain management who takes that report forward, including to present it before the BAC. So I took it that it is served before the BAC, even though I do not have evidence.
Okay, so you assume that it did go to the BAC?
I assume, yes.
Okay. Okay, please proceed with the statement at paragraph 11.
Paragraph 11, as indicated in paragraph 5 above, the properties, assets, and personnel which required protection are from all the departments, including TMPD. The said properties and personnel include clinics, cemeteries, water reservoirs, pump stations, electric substations, storage facilities, markets, regional offices, emergency services, executive mayor, mayoral committee members, and any official whose life is in danger. The list is exhaustive.
Oh, just a minute. Mr. Malatji, paragraph 11 does indicate what you are to deal with. That is the properties and whatever else that require protection. So even though you did not read the preceding heading, just above paragraph 11, the intro, which is in paragraph 11, does explain what everything is before the next heading. But I just want to say, for context, you should always read the headings. You don't need to go back to the heading.
Thank you. All the municipal departments require security services from asset protection services. There are many departmental security services requested since March 2022. I've been unable to source the security service request from the municipality departments due to my current suspension from employment.
Thank you. Perhaps just while we are there, Could you just explain to us and the commissioners, perhaps, what is your role from a managerial point of view in relation to the city's assets?
I'm going to refer the commissioner to page 6 of my annexed TP1. On page 6, my role as the director responsible for protection services is to ensure that protection of council premises and personnel is executed, to monitor internal guards, to monitor external guards, monitoring of cash in transit services, the provisioning of high-level VIP protection of the executive mayor, MMCs, and other dignitaries, the provisioning of a secure and integrated metro police communication system service, identify, evaluate, and make recommendations on possible strategies, solutions, plans, and projects to prevent the asset loss of the city, the provision of CCTV camera operations to prevent crime and related incidents in the COT, the reduction of burglaries in brackets break-ins at owned and hired CTM properties, number of inspections on compliance with firearm legislation, implementation of the MIS document, ad hoc duties, and as and when required by the top management. I must inform the commissioner that even though this is the list that constituted my primary functions, but there are some of these functions which I could not execute, or I could not execute due to various reasons, and yes, but mostly until now, I am responsible for the protection of properties of the city, assets, personnel. Some of these functions were taken away from me since 2017, as I mentioned earlier on, that I was taken out of the position for almost a period of 2 years. And when I came back, many of these functions were taken away from me, and they were never returned. They are being performed somewhere.
When you say in that period that some of the functions were taken away, did that include the protection of council properties? Was that also taken away from you?
No. The protection of council.
So you have remained consistently since your
Yes.
appointment in 2013. You've
Yes.
remained consistently responsible for that function.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on the protection of state assets, is there a system in place or that you have in place to ensure that all assets are protected in terms of monitoring them? Do you have a system in place around that? And in how you allocate responsibilities to your
How many council assets and or properties are there that which needs to be protected? And in order to ensure that they are protected, I then made sure that I've got a team within the Asset Protection Services, which team's job is to monitor performance of both private guards and in-house security services, right? During the process of monitoring, they do inspections on those, properties and assets. They make sure that security guards are in place, security measures that are put in place on specific sites are working, and anything that goes wrong on the sites, they report back. And how they report back, they've got inspection reports that they submit. And yeah, I think that is basically the system. They also conduct security risk assessment where on as and when required basis. And this is one important tool that we use to inform and guide us when we take decision in terms of which asset is more of value than which one, and then we take those factors into account when we do the actual deployment of guards to ensure safety and security of those properties and assets of the city of Tshukudu.
Thank you. And in your time, were they effectively managed?
Yes, Commissioner.
And they reported to you, your team reported to you?
They did, yes, the team reported to me.
And you oversaw the process and you were satisfied over the years?
Yes, Commissioner, I was satisfied with what the team was doing. I must also mention here that in security, there is a saying that 100% security is a myth, meaning even if we could have all the sites covered, right, you would always encounter security challenges, break-ins, theft, and so forth and so on. But I must also bring it to the attention of the Commissioner that since 2013 to date, the city has not been able to protect all its assets. It has not been able to protect all its assets. Out of more than 1,000 assets of the city, up until I was suspended in July last year, we were covering almost 545 sites, which means that almost the same amount of assets, right, remained unprotected to date. And the reason, it's always financial capacity. And because with security, you know, you outsource, you need a sufficient budget, and the budget that the city has been making available, all right, has not been able to enable us cover every asset. So we had to prioritize and make sure that those that we think they are of priority are protected around the clock using private guards. And it's about 3 years, if something of that nature. I'm not sure of the exact date. The city went on and decided to insource security officers. And yes, the number, it's not enough to enable us cover all the sites that the city needs to be covered. I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the council.
Of the 500 and something odd, were they jointly serviced by the internal security and external, or just only external?
We initially, okay, I would say of the 545, right? If my memory serves me well, it is somewhere in my, 545, we are utilizing private security guards to guard them. And there is some that out of 545 that are being guarded by the what you call, by in-house. For example, I would confirm, I was just checking here, it indicates that 547, Commissioner, are guarded by private guards, and 127 are guarded by in-house. So almost the same number, 600 and something, it remains guarded to date.
Thank you. On file 2, could you turn to page 397?
Is that which page, Mrs. Kaka? 397, thank you.
Are you there, Mr. Malatji?
Yes,
This is a report, a handover report that was compiled by Ms. Marota to hand over the APSS to TMPD. Did you have any input into this report?
I would say not formal input. I would say not formal input, but why I'm saying not formal input, I was not invited by my supervisor then. By the way, in the office of the city manager, I was reporting to Mr. Navapile, right?
Mr.
Navapile.
Navapile.
Yes. So I was reporting to Mr. Navapile. So I do not remember us having a meeting in order to compile or make inputs into the handing over of, but I would accept that this report represents what was the status.
Now, this is the unit that deals with the assets of the city. which you've accepted that you were part of at management level.
Yes.
So they did not consult you when they were moving it and compiling a report.
They did not consult me. They just told me we are going to move. A decision has been taken by the executive with effect from, they gave us the date, the unit would be going back to TMPD. And that was it, the date came, and we were called to TMPD, and yeah, that was it.
Okay. If you turn to page 400 of this report, (4.3) paragraph 2,
Okay.
I think perhaps it supports what you were saying. It indicates that work rendered by security service provider was not monitored as per service level agreement. And it then says the Tswanepet, I think there's a mistake, Metropolitan Police Department does not monitor the deployment of the security personnel at least twice a month as stipulated in the SLAs. What would be your comment to that? Would this report be accurate in this regard or not?
It will not be accurate. It would not be accurate because security service providers were, and I believe they are continuing to be monitored at this point in time, unless things have changed since I left office to date. But in the run-up to when I was still in office, monitoring teams are on the ground, monitoring 24/7 deployment of security service providers.
So evidence is that while it's untrue and actually you monitor the sites 24/7
Exactly, that's my point.
for 545 sites.
Yes, 545 sites. When I say monitor, I want to bring it to the commissioner that in practical terms, it would always not be easy to cover every site on daily or twice daily or thrice, given the shortage of personnel that are there to conduct this specific function. But we've been doing what we could to ensure that basically the monitoring is in place, and it continued to be in place, which makes me believe that it is still in place, because I wouldn't think of any reason why we cannot have the service providers monitored around the clock. Even though, yes, I agree, we wouldn't be able to, what you call, at each and every site, given the shortage of personnel.
Thank you.
Maybe before you move on, if you're moving from this, you see, that paragraph, Mr. Malatji, refers to monitoring reports. That paragraph 2, it says the review of the monitoring reports revealed that the TMPD does not monitor the deployment at least twice a month as stipulated by the SLA. So are you disputing the correctness of this because you've seen the monitoring reports for the relevant period? There are two parts to this paragraph. The one is that monitoring reports say something, and then also that the monitoring doesn't happen twice a month as agreed in the SLA. I'm just trying to understand which part do you disagree with?
Commissioner, I would not, I wouldn't with certainty say I dispute what I disagree with what the paragraph is saying, more especially when they are talking twice a month. Hence, as a result of me having said personnel capacity is always the issue. Even though the SLA stipulates that monitoring should be done twice a month, given the size of the number of the sites that we need to monitor, possibilities that yes, somewhere we are not able to reach the target.
So you're not disputing where it says that the monitoring was not happening twice a month as per the SLA agreement. You're not in a position to dispute that. In fact, your explanation is you were short of personnel, so you were not always
I agree.
monitoring. So that part you're not disputing.
I agree.
Okay. Do you know the monitoring reports that are referred to in this paragraph? And is it stuff that you looked at, documents that you would look at? Were they presented to you on a regular basis? Did you look at them? Would you verify for yourself what is contained in those reports?
Yes, I would assume that they are referring to what in the environment we call inspection reports.
Yes.
Right? And which inspection reports are completed on site, they are brought to the office, right? And we go in through them, we check, right? And make sure that indeed this monitoring team is doing its work. I think.
Okay. So but just to be sure, and I just want to correct your answer to Mr. Skakane. You responded to his question that you don't agree with what is contained here, that monitoring wasn't happening. So I just want to clarify that with you, that you accept, and that seems to be in your answer, in fact, that because of capacity constraints, monitoring was not happening the way that the SLAs required it to be done, which is twice a month. You accept that?
I accept.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. In fact, I wanted to probe this point a bit further. And this report actually refers that this was a finding of internal audit, meaning there was an auditing of the sites, the monitoring reports, and the actual inspection reports. But at least now we've accepted that you don't dispute this answer. Now, could you accept that in that, well, perhaps let me start with the question. These assets, if you look at the tender, the 2016-2017 tender,
Yes.
the value of it is 800 million, which according to you, as the client representatives in specific, is quite a substantial amount.
Yes, I think it could even be more, even though I don't have the exact report to back up my statement. But yes, I agree. It could be it's a substantial amount of money. I agree.
And could you accept the possibility with what you are saying and the acceptance of these findings from internal audit that perhaps there could have been a situation where invoices that were submitted by service providers could not have been verified as a possibility?
I think it could be, yes. I agree.
And how often did you reconcile or double check the invoices of the service providers on your part? Because actually you were the director.
Normally, we have got schedule for each security service provider. And every time they submit an invoice, right, my team would make sure that this invoice is in respect of all the sites that which were or that which are allocated to the specific service provider before it gets brought to my office to certify that indeed the services were rendered as per the allocation in question and so forth.
Perhaps then I understand your answer then differently to say that with each invoice that is submitted, you sign them off after having made sure that the services were rendered.
Yes, there is a standing instruction to the team that is assigned a duty to receive and administer these invoices to say before each invoice is brought to my attention to certify, right? Go through and make sure that the service provider is invoicing the city for all the what you call the sites that the service provider in question is guiding or deployed to that.
But surely that answer or your agreement with what is stated in the report and the answer you're providing can't exist at the same time. Meaning you can't agree with an audit finding that says you failed to monitor the service level agreement or service providers, but then at the same time you say you do check the invoices and satisfy yourself that services were rendered.
There are two, in my honest view, there are two sides to the question. When I say I do not dispute what the internal audit has done, right? It's on the basis that there are 545 sites to which we should have come out twice every month. Hence, I said, sometimes it is possible not to come out there as a result of, I mentioned the issue of capacity. But now, coming back to the invoices, right? The invoices, the monitoring of the invoice by the administration team is to ensure that whatever the service provider has claimed on the invoice is actually what has been allocated to that service provider, right? As to whether during the month the monitoring team managed to come out of each and every site so mentioned on the invoice, that would be another issue. And the possibility is, it could be that for the month of March, the monitoring team came out once to a specific site, but the service provider would still submit that invoice for payment. Hence, theirs is to make sure that whatever is submitted for payment is exactly as per the schedule that we have allocated to that specific service provider. Commissioner.
Thank you.
I guess what Mr. Skakane is testing with you is that it's possible, and I want to say probable, that some invoices were paid even though services were not rendered as reflected in that invoice, because you wouldn't know if monitoring doesn't happen as regularly or as agreed, then you depend entirely on the service provider to say in their invoice, we did deploy our people as per the SLA. You depend on them because you have no way of verifying that at the time that you get the invoice. Because you didn't, your people didn't, due to capacity constraints, they were unable to go to that site.
I agree.
You must accept that.
I
that you
accept those.
probably did pay some invoices when they should not have been paid.
Probably, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. By the way, I think that takes care of quite a bit of my questions on this. Just out of interest, this report, when did you ever come across it? When did you first see it?
Human resource related matters. No, I'm coming across it for the first time here.
For the first time. Okay. Thank you. Please go back to file 1, which is the continuation of your statement. Just be reminded of what the chair requested, that you read the heading. Yes.
We are on page 4, am I correct?
Correct, paragraph 14 at the top, but start with the heading.
Yes. The heading, whether TMPD previously outsourced cutting services, entities which previously rendered cutting services out of the appointed 2022, that rendered service under TMPD 2 2016-2017. As indicated in paragraph 1 above, TMPD has previously outsourced guarding services. The following entities were previously appointed prior to TMPD 2 2016-2017. Number 1, Hotline Security Services. 2, Mabotwane Security Services. 3, Triotic Protection Services. 4, Marumo Maipe Cleaning. 5, Security and, actually it's Marumo Maipe Security and Cleaning Service and Civil Construction. And then it would be 5 in terms of 6, which is both best trading and projects.
Thank you. Just to spend a bit of 2 questions on this. Do you know if, were you involved, let's say prior to this tender, in outsourcing or in previous contracts for the provision of security services for the assets?
Prior to TMPD 2, 2016-2017.
Correct.
I was not involved.
You are not involved?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. There's an entity there that's 14.3.
14.3, Triotic, yes.
Triotic Protection Services.
Yes.
Do you know about that entity?
Yes, the entity is one of the entities